Hello folks, it's another fine day at Darrowwood, and today you find me making all kinds of tables and bases for walnut tables for a restaurant. It's going to be in New Orleans. So I've been working on these busily now for weeks and weeks, actually you could say months on and off. And what I'm going to do is just going to show you some shots. As you can see, I've got a bunch of pieces, parts. I've got some of the bases all ready together right there. There you go. Oh, wrong way. Right here. So I got some partly put together, and I'll be assembling them and putting them all together and doing the finishing touches and all today. So that's what you'll be joining me for. Let's get to it. On all of the pieces for these tables, one of the most important things to do is to find the center. I then drill the center so that every piece I use a small metal rod to just place down through the hole. So I can automatically just put them on top of each other, put the metal rod in the hole, and I know everything is centered up exactly where it needs to be. Then it's just a simple matter of pre-drilling and then screwing everything together just to make sure it's all nice and solid. Made a little jig here, as you can see. This is what I use. You just put it on the piece, mark it, turn it, mark it again, turn it, mark it again. And where all those lines intersect, there's going to be the dead center of that piece. And that's where you drill in order to get your center hole for the metal rod to place it on top of the next piece. As you can see, more of the same going on here. I'm pre-drilling the bulb, and I'm also marking with the series of small circles I have the same diameter that's the top of that bulb, because I'll need that in future for when I pre-drill and drill down through, so I know where I can and cannot put screws and attachments. Now it's time to put everything together. As you can see, got the little metal rod, the guide hole, everything goes in, center to center. It's all nice and centered, don't have to worry about anything there. Now I can take a pneumatic trim nail gun and just put a couple of quick nails in there, and that holds everything in place. Now I don't have to worry about it slipping slightly out of center and then being out of whack. And again, pre-drill everything, and what I'm using here is they're called timber locks. They're the equivalent of like 3/8 inch lag bolts, and they hold really solidly well together. I'm not gluing anything because there are times this may need to be taken apart for maintenance or any adjustments in future. There have been a couple of redesigns on this. The last thing I want to do is to put all these together and have somebody say, oh, let's trade this one to that part and that part to here, and then I've got to take them all apart. And if they're all glued, I'm in trouble. So I'm not gluing anything, but I'm screwing it together really well. Now that I've assembled the top and the base, or the bottom of the base, I'm going to put the two parts together and make them become one. Now don't forget, I've already pre-marked out where I'm going to be drilling, pre-drilled, but I've still got to make sure everything's where it needs to be, so you've got to just center it. Then you've got to pre-drill it. And what you do is you start on one side, you pre-drill so that your screws go in nicely exactly as you want them to. Then you attach everything. Starting on this one side, then once I've got that, checking on the other side, turning it around, and then going to the exact opposite to make sure that nothing is moved. Sometimes you'll screw these pieces together and they might want to shift just an 1/8 of an inch or so. So going immediately opposite, making sure everything's as it should be, and attaching everything together, and there you go. There's one base. ready to go. Well, almost. I've still got to put feet on it. And the feet I'm putting on here are just those little gliders or sliders. You put them on the bottom of furniture. Protect the floor, but they also protect the bottom of the furniture, and it makes it easy to slide the table around. As I'm sure these tables will be joined together depending on how many people are coming to eat. Maybe I want to make 2 tables into one, as frequently we do it when we go out to eat. Well, as you can see behind me over here, thankfully it's got to the point where I'm actually putting the 2 together. So I now have a total of 9 complete tables. Also got one over here. 4 more to go and I'll have them all together. So tomorrow I'll be able to start delivering as well. And this is where we attach the bottoms to the tops. What I'm doing now is I'm pre-drilling all the way around. I drill each individual top. I did initially think about doing a pattern so that everyone was the same, but I went away from that because sometimes you get minor differences and you've got to realign pieces. And so I just did each table onto itself. So I pre-drill, take the base off, and then what I do is I come in and I screw in some threaded inserts. I'm pre-drilling here to take the inserts. And you come back and on each one, clean it off first, that's important. It's always nice to have a clean surface to work with. But you get each little threaded insert, put that on, and then what I do is I put a dab of super glue on each threaded insert. So every time I put it in, I've got just a little bit of extra something holding it in. It's a very, very tight fit. It's not going to come out of walnut anytime soon. It's going to grip really well. But putting a little dab of super glue on there, it's just a little bit of added insurance. And clean off any excess glue, because the last thing I want to do is to put the bottom back onto the top, screw it together, then find it's managed to glue itself on. Like I said, I'm trying to avoid gluing anything together on this one. And those threaded inserts are 1/4 thread, so I've put 5 or 6, depending upon table size, 5 or 6 1/4 bolts into them to keep them all together. And of course, there's only me in the shop, and the most fun part of any time, and thankfully these are small tables, so it's not so bad, is moving them. I can take them off the table and stack them around, get them ready to go. It's always a little nervous. You're always worried something's going to slip. It's going to be a disaster. It's happened. It's happened. Thankfully, not with any of these, because then you're going to have to end up spending a couple of hours redoing something because you made a mistake. But thankfully, not here. Well, good afternoon. All those tables I've been making and the bases, they finally got attached, and I am now en route to deliver them. Going across the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway, all 24 miles of it. And as you may notice in my constantly up and down movement, the shock absorbers in my old rickety van are less than optimal, shall we say. Alright, well, I'll get these 4 delivered. Hopefully I'll pick up a check and I'll get back to the shop, and I'll be making some more tables and bases and all kinds of things. I'll even get into some box beams later on. And the customer is a big warehouse over in the New Orleans area. He's got other businesses, so I was able to take the tables over there and drop them off, so that when they're ready for the restaurant to open, they're already right around the corner And I don't have to hold them in my shop, because if I held all those in my shop, I'd start running out of room and I wouldn't be able to make other stuff. So I was glad to get them out and get them over there. Okay, there we are. It's all delivered. Customer's very happy, which makes me very happy. Picked up a check, put it in the bank, and that's part one down. 2 more to go, maybe even a third. So, bit of maintenance to do in the next couple of days. Cleaning up around the shop and that kind of stuff, catching up on a couple of little errands, and then we'll get back to it. Right, thanks for tuning in.